All right, just real quick. I read this. Whoops, where's the thing? All right. So I'm trying to find my presenter view. I'm a little rusty because I haven't COVID taught in a hot minute. Um, but I gotta say, it's real nice to see faces on this one. The There's something defeating about just like deep COVID and just I got to know the students' Google uh stuff real well. Their profile pic. But yeah, just like so I read a news article yesterday about how one prompting strategy people use for AI is to just be mean to it. Like just tell it it's really dumb and that it will not get this right. It's absurd. But I'm just curious, like if it would work, would you? Um, no worries. Yeah, and if you're driving, like I promise I don't have you go wrapped up in all this. Thank you people, thanks everybody for coming. I'm just real grateful. Uh, yeah, if you have a chance, drop in the chat, like if you could, would you? Um, or if it would work, would you? As long as it doesn't long-term piss off Skynet. I should have put that Terminator meme in here. Missed opportunity. Um,
I wouldn't take the risk to offend it.
yeah, I don't, because it'll remember. Um, all right, we're at like, let's give it like 30 more seconds and then we'll get started. Um, Goal here is we absolutely yes, Cheryl. Um, so yeah, we'll get started. If you can, I just want to like play a quick round of Never Have I Ever just to get an idea of like who's in the room so I can tailor some examples. Um, and then so that's what's wait, I doubt it. Sorry, Alexis, not getting it. 100% yes. Okay. It's like it's almost like we're just reading the things they carried last period with my sophomores, and it's like there's so much peace. I wanted to hurt it back from spin. It's a good peace story. Um okay. I don't know. I feel weird about like yelling at things. I used to be a lot angrier and I'm chiller now. And it's just like, I don't know. Um it feels disingenuous. Like I don't even like to be the dark side when I play Knights of the Old Republic or something. Uh or KOTOR or Star Wars or whatever. Cool. All right, let's get started. Just a quick intro for me. Hi, my name's Andrew Gittner. Uh, my first year teaching, I taught like one section of AP Lit in the same room at the same time as English 12 at this really weird charter school. And then I had like five other preps and I had to invent two electives every day. I got really mediocre at everything. And one thing I was especially mediocre at was grading things on time. It's something that I've always felt like really self-conscious about. This is year 10 for me. I'm teaching English 10, 11, and I'm teaching AP seminar next year. And one of the big reasons I didn't want to teach AP or didn't go for it or throw my hat in the ring is because of the grading. Um, because I didn't check and like realize AP Lit and Lang we're gonna be more digital this year. Um, now I that's why I was hoping to like try seminar because it seemed neat and like the writing would be easy to turn around fast. I'm also really involved in my teachers union, and I believe that like teaching needs to be a sustainable job, and if it isn't, we're all go like we got to be in here for the marathon, not the sprint. So like this kind of tool, CoGrader for me particularly is something that it's really helped my workload be more sustainable. Um, at least this year. Who knows what it'll be in the future? But right now, like the reason I'm able to do a lot of the things I can do is because I use CoGrader to help me like uh is use CoGrader to help me draft feedback on student essays. So just real quick, here's the goal. We're going to go over three basic questions. Um, is it ethical to draft feedback with AI? Is the first question because that comes up on Facebook all the time. Second is how do we make AI draft good feedback? So I'm gonna show like some I'm gonna show you some ways to kind of like trick the AI into grading like an AP reader and writing feedback like the AP score reports. And then I'm just gonna share like there's a couple different strategies you could use, but I'm gonna share one that actually it makes you seem it's like fire to caveman, at least it was to me. And then it took a few minutes to learn last night. I'm excited for you guys to learn it too. So just real quick, and I'll cut out some of the ones, but just if you played Never Have I Ever, do this at the screen. I want to figure out who's here, where people are at. Let's go 5 fingers. Okay, thank you, peeps. So just real quick, never have I ever used a sorry, wait. Never have I ever used a meme to explain a difficult concept. I absolutely have. And if you've done it, just put a finger down. Nice. Never have I ever finger down. All right, Don. Um, never have I ever rolled my eyes at educational jargon. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I knew that one was too easy. Never have I ever used AI for anything. I wrote this so I would lose it, but okay. Oh, I have you too. You got a Mac too, Mike. Nice. Never have I ever procrastinated grading writing because I didn't want to. Thank God I'm not alone. Okay. And never have I ever just used CoGrader before. I'm just trying to gauge where people are at. So finger down if you've used it before. All right. Beautiful. Okay, excellent. Laughing to it. Thanks, Son. Aw. Beautiful. So I am going to go through like pretty quickly how to use it later on. Uh, we did just come out with like a bronze certification that walks you through it like at your own pace. So if you don't catch everything today, that's okay. The goal here is in the next like, let's say half hour, because we all just worked today, right? Like the next half hour to hit some other high notes. So just imagine for a second, and like this is what I'd always sort of wanted to be possible looking at the PLC model. But like imagine what your class would look like if you knew exactly what students needed to write better, especially for an AP class, about 30 seconds after they turn that thing in. Like if just in 30 seconds, you get a snapshot of where every student was at individually and where your class was. And just hold on to that feeling for a second because yeah, amazing. Take a sec, drop in the chat. Like what would that feel like? For me, it felt impossible. Like too good to be true for me. Because that's sort of relief. Beautiful. Yeah, what else? Like what else would that kind of empowering? That's a good one. Empowering. I could acknowledge my friends. Oh. Through the base. What sorcery is this? Let's let's hit some magic. But real quick, there is something I love. By the way, I love the chat. I love the reactions in there. And if you have a question, just like raise hands. We can pause and do questions. This is not like a staff meeting where you're just going to keep us all here later. I promise. We'll move this along. But before we get to that future, like maybe I'm kind of a fan of. I'm sort of a nerd, and I like the Franken or the science ethics question. Like just because we can, should we? So the most common complaint, and I just clipped this from any one of the Facebook messages or like threads that I'm in where somebody brings this up. You know, the feature of the software is you can check for student AI cheating using teacher AI cheating. And with the implication being that like we are cheating by using AI to draft feedback. And these concepts pop up all the time. Then it's usually for me, or maybe the ones that like make my blood boil is it ends up like this, where it's binary, right? Either like people are yelling at me for being less of a teacher or less good or less whatever, less than because I don't want to walk uphill 15 miles both ways, right? Back in the day. That said, like I think that it's okay to want to have like our weekends back, and to want to have like time to be with our families. Life is objectively harder now than it used to be. And there's something really powerful and important that comes with like participating in all aspects of it. That said, if I didn't figure out a way to teach more efficiently, my wife in a few years was like I was really neglecting being a good husband. I wasn't present. And one thing co-grader's given me is like the ability to have, I don't want to say have it all. It feels like that's trademarked, but it's a little bit more complicated than it is either cheating or it's not, at least for me. So this comes from Matt Miller's Ditch That Textbook blog. And this is something that I use with my students when we do big-ish like assignments. This is an example of where like of the spectrum of AI use. Just like the question of how much plagiarism or how much paraphrasing from a source is plagiarism doesn't have a clear answer. It's not necessarily yes or no. It's like it's a continuum. So for example, like this presentation is not entirely free of AI. You'll see a slide where I needed help writing a joke because I was just brain dead, and ChatGPT helped me. They're not great jokes, but it's a joke. And part of the campiness is like part of the joke, but I used AI to help me with that. I looked for the internet for ideas. I did not just plug in a prompt and make this. If you could, we would all be replaceable, right? But like, no, it's not. Using AI for different purpose. The ethicality of using this kind of technology is dependent on the purpose and the way we use it. And I am a firm believer in this. And I'm not going to ask for like a raise of hands because it's happened to too many of my friends and colleagues, but like almost everybody I know has caught a student like asking for help through their writing in some way, shape, or form. And it's scary and it's real. And if we're not reading it, like, then we're just abdicating like a primal professional responsibility. And also, we're giving away our best judgment and our professionalism. We're just like trying to make something replace us where it can't. So I do believe, and this is the perspective I'm coming at this from, that we have an ethical and moral responsibility to read our students' writing. That said, it's really nice to have a TA like automatic thing draft it for me, so I just have to revise it. That makes it so much faster. So like one of the things that I know about that when I taught AP was like they needed fast feedback, and we didn't do extended revisions or very super long projects or like long writing things because that's just not rewarded by the College Board. It's just not. So I wanted my students to get, and we all want the most for our students and the most opportunity. So we help them destroy this test and beat the College Board. At least that's how I phrased it. I called them the evil empire sometimes because the test was on May the 4th. So just me. Okay. So CoGrader helps me be really fast. And it makes it so essays. Oh, thanks. It makes it so essays can be formative. And it helps students faster. So the next day we do some kind of like revision, correction, etc. It helped ease their anxiety about grades, and it helped them do better and learn exactly what they needed to do faster. So this is the writing process in like my standard classes, English 10 and 11, where we do a lot more of the recursive writing process, going more back and forth. And this is what it looks like in AP. At least it did when I did it. All of the pre-writing was like the reading, the classwork, the discussions, etc. And then like timely feedback was even more crucial for students. And even if the feedback wasn't perfect, the fact that it could happen within 30 seconds was a virtue in and of itself. And that's not nothing, because the feedback loop of it would take me two weeks if I like wasn't depressed and like procrastinating to grade all of their essays. And now it doesn't have to. Like I'm not dreading grading like I used to. And I don't write like kind of snarky comments by the 50th time they didn't actually answer the prompt. So their feedback, or the feedback I give them this quickly, also helps me because I can do super individualized, tailored revision lessons. So here's some basics. Like here's how to use
Andrew,
CodeGrader. Oh
Andrew,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Just before we move forward, Justin has a question in the chat
Oh,
about if you tell your students up front that you're grading them using AI.
So, um, sorry, I was using an iPad as my second screen. The school Wi-Fi didn't let it work. Um, there we go. Yes, I do. And I think that's actually, thanks for reminding me, Justin. That's really important. Um, I not only tell my students, I also I added it to my syllabus. I talked to my evaluator and my principal, because they're not actually the same person here. And I did talk to parents at like parent teacher conferences. I did send a letter home. I made a video and sent that home, which is actually, unless I had ChatGPT like draft the letter, I don't even remember, it was a while ago. But yes, and that's really important. Um, there is one teacher who teaches AP Lit at a different school in my district. He doesn't just tell students that he's grading them using AI. He actually brags about not having to read their writing, and that like makes my skin crawl. There's a we have a responsibility to. But yeah, in short, if I wasn't being honest about it, then it would cost some of the trust that that we need to, or that I really rely on for like classroom management, relevance, etc., like all that stuff. Um, Short answers, yeah. Okay. Just pause if cool. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate the thumbs up. Okay. So CodeGrader basics. This is how to use it super basically. And just do me a favor, just like here. Do me a favor, and in Zoom, you can click the little smiley face under the chat and just like give me a whoops, where's the thing? Where's the reactions? Oh man. Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry guys, it's been a minute since I've taught. Yep, there it is. Okay. Just give me just give me a thumbs up, a smiley, some kind of affirmative reaction. There we go. Thanks, Sarah Jane. Um, if you have, if you've got Google Classroom, just so I can get like a poll almost. You don't have to have your camera on to do it. Just if you use Google Classroom. Okay. If you use either Schoology or Canvas. Couple more. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Beautiful. All right. So I'm gonna go through like a little bit more with I'm gonna go through the basics. I use Classroom, and CodeGrader's kind of built to work best with that, but there is Schoology, Canvas, Classroom. Okay, cool. So we got a healthy mix. Wonderful. So I'm gonna go through Google Classroom's flow, but there are other integrations. And if you like make a CodeGrader account, one of the you choose you just click on the logo and it'll give you instructions for how to bulk upload assignments. And that's something that CodeGrader has that no other grader like this that I've seen does. All the other ones go one at a time. This one, you can go through a whole class at once, and I really like it. So first you import a class, or you make a class. You can click either button. If you have Schoology or Canvas, you just want to make a class. Oops. Hang on. I know I stopped sharing. Thank you all for being patient with me. There we go. Sorry. Can you guys see me now? It's working. Screen sharing. Beautiful. Thanks. So then once you like import a class and start an assignment, you just tell CodeGrader how to grade. And I'm going to show you a tip and give you like just a spreadsheet of almost all of the AP rubrics that I just steal from. The AP rubrics, we'll get there. You can add your rubric. You can use one of the templates. So they have templates for most of the AP assignments already. They've got, I don't think they have the sciences, definitely don't have the maths because they're the FRQs are just way different, but they definitely have English. They definitely have the various social studies and histories. You can pick a template and that just like pre-fills it, and then you can revise it if you like to make it with some of the tips I got here. Then you just tell CodeGrader what you'd tell a teaching assistant. And if you import from Classroom, it tells you the exact thing. What I do is I just take the FRQ prompt and I just put it in there. Whoops, hang on. Yeah. Yep, import a class, tell it how to grade. I put the prompt in the extra instructions, and I also, and I'll show some other stuff that I do there in a moment. Then when you start grading, you just click the blue button on, or you upload them. It grades all of them. When you can see view grade, it's working. You can click regrade to run it again. And it looks like this. So on the right is the student's paper. On the left is the feedback that CodeGrader drafts, as well as these grades. And I like the top line feedback is glow, grow, and action items. Sorry for the poor resolution here. One cool new thing that you can do is there's a button where you can just click and AI will, based on the feedback and the grades you've changed below, it will redraft the overall feedback that gives suggestions. So you can like change the grades, hit that one button, and it revises the feedback to fit what you've corrected. And that's important. Nothing goes back to the student, regardless of the platform you're using, until you say so. And you know, I really like that, and it's real clear. If you have like templates for stuff, or you want them to write a thesis in a certain way, you just say you put that in the thesis line, just like you put that in the thesis line of the rubric and say focus feedback on this. So I gave them a very specific thesis template to use for this assignment, and that's the feedback I gave them if they didn't use it. Then, and this is huge, you get the insights, which is just a quick class report, and you can run that as soon as CodeGrader like drafts the feedback and get just a snapshot of like roughly here's the pain points and here's the successes. I really like that. I'll show you kind of what I used that for before. And that button, the download CSV, is really powerful. You can use that and turn it into a mail merge. Another thing you can do with CodeGrader is you can upload or student writing through CSV. So you can, what I've done is like, I've had students do a discussion over Flipgrid, record it, and then I've downloaded the spreadsheet from Flipgrid, uploaded it to CodeGrader, and CodeGrader drafted feedback on their videos, which is pretty cool. When students open their document and see it, this is what it looks like. They have like clear feedback, top stuff on the top, then justification to each line of the thesis below. So I've gotten this down to about 1 to 2 hours for about 90 students. And that's the quality, the level of feedback they're getting. So they're getting something really detailed that is personalized. And it would take me easily to do the same thing 5 times as long or more. And that's not even counting like the dread and the procrastination I would face. So like, that's how to use CodeGrader. Just quick, any questions about the products? Any questions about, any questions you have that you'd like me to clarify before we move on and talk about Mr. Pickle? Down to practice wait time. Beautiful. Is it grading only for writing structure? Great question, Matthew. So the short answer is no. Oops. So ahead, it will grade for whatever you put the rubric in for it. So you can enter the rubrics just like the AP rubrics. We'll chat about that in a second. It will grade for structure though, but it grades for whatever the AP rubrics have. Perfect. So with AI, it is a quality in, quality out, garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. If you know how to write a good prompt, then you will get the response you're looking for. And so I want to give like 3 suggestions or three kind of principles that I've honestly ripped from. It's like a high school student, and like AP, I told them that it stands for answer the prompt. Because if you don't, you're not even getting the thesis point, man. So yeah, any output depends on the quality of your input. So it's very much like my students now. It'll answer what it understood you wanted, not what you thought or actually wanted. And that takes some tinkering sometimes. So I had it like write a joke where the punchline relates to the process of training AP readers, and then it just starts panel to ensure it shines brightly with insightful analysis and precise scoring. And then I changed it to write 3 jokes, and it gave me 3 jokes. And I told it to target the jokes to more specifically like what I'm looking for. Just one, but they'll need a stack of rubrics and a cup of coffee. Just one, but they'll need a workshop, a manual, and lots of patience to make sure they're doing it right. Like, better input is more specific, clearer jokes. So I thought, like, honestly, training AI is not that different from training the AP readers. It's really not. So like you can actually use the exact same sources that AP readers are trained on to do the same thing. And here's 3 things you add to or change to a rubric to make it grade closer to an AP reader. So before I go over these, just like I saw one more question. How do you ensure they are using, wait. Oh, not using. Okay. How are you ensure they're not using AI to generate their draft? This is gonna sound silly, but the only AI they really know is twofold. It's either ChatGPT or the AI built into their Snapchat. Those are the only ones I've ever seen students like try to use. Just thumbs up if anyone else has seen like them use Claude or Poe or Bing or anyone Copilot. No, yeah, it's pretty much just ChatGPT, and the free version of ChatGPT is actually, in my humble opinion, the worst writer out there. It's robotic, it's stilted. I had one student turn in an essay that had God, what was it? It was a word I heard in like intro to literary theory in college. It was like vermicelitude or something crazy, like have the quality of having to do with truth, something like that. And so I just asked. A lot of times they just copy and paste the prompt, so it'll be short. Fair. Yeah, I don't know. ChatGPT just has a voice. I I don't know how to explain it. If I suspect it or I think, I don't just run one AI checker. If you're going to use them, run like 2 or 3 because you'll get different. They're not super reliable and they tend to have a bias against students who are learning English. But it's just kind of a feeling. Oh yeah, it uses Crucial Thrilled. For a while, ChatGPT really liked dearth. It was just in love with the word dearth. Everything was a dearth of meaning and effort and etc. Sarah Jane, how long should you train AI? Okay, great question. So co-graders using an AI that's already, it's not a custom one. It's I think I forget exactly which model we're using, but you don't have to train it. All you have to do is write the rubric clearly. And that's actually a virtue. The AI, the ones that say they train or customize the AI output based on your students, that makes me like suspicious because they're kind of not, I don't know what they're doing with the students' data entirely. And sometimes terms of service are complicated legalese. So that's another reason I like CoGrader. It doesn't do sorry. It doesn't do suspicious stuff like that. So you don't have to train AI for any length of time. You just have to write a solid rubric. And and then I'll go with that last question. How do you know you've gotten there the same as you would otherwise? Great question. Basically, like there's kind of 2 reasons to use CoGrader. One is more for formative assessments, and that's what I tend to use it for. And the other is for like summative, where you're looking for the grade more. So I use it for formative feedback, and the summative one, I end up changing the grades a lot more. So how do I know I've gotten there is when I read the student's essay, I read the feedback, and I look at and I look at how, like, is that actionable? Is that something I know that student can use to improve their writing? That's, if they can, yes, that's how I know I've gotten there. And also like kind of my judgment of like what parts of the rubric will end up being the highest leverage for the most points. And actually the AP rubrics are already written in these kinds of ways. So honestly, I just took a bunch of copy and paste and put them in there, and I changed some stuff to make it so the feedback was what I wanted. But you can literally say like, focus feedback on this. So LLMs are really terrible with numbers, and they're really good with the more words you give them. They're good at language, they're bad at math. So if so it's good at checklists, and I combine that with like if them or conditional statements. So like if this, then that. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just saw Michael's AI hack. That one's fun. I've used that, and it made a student named Fletcher very sheepish. So grading checklist. If the paper has this, then it will contain XYZ. A proficient lab report will contain XYZ. If it uses these sources, then it should be scored at least this. Like those are the kinds of like scoring guidelines. If you give AI, it does a really good job. Also, giving it a few shot examples. So you provide examples that you give examples and non-examples. Like just like when we're norming our grading by looking at the exemplars, you just do the, like AI will do the same thing, except it doesn't have to take time to grade them. You just tell it good example, bad example. If this many points. If this or something like it, fewer points. And if in there you describe the strengths and weaknesses of these examples, which the AI scoring guidelines and reports do, it models good feedback for the AI. So it'll actually start writing the feedback more like the College Board does or would on the scoring exemplars. Cool. So I have, I'm just gonna, oops, just gonna grab this. If you guys want, and I only went up to 2022, but if you click on that, that'll have like the scoring rubrics for everything, and the examples and all the stuff, just because I hate digging through the College Board's website to find stuff. So I got annoyed and put it on a spreadsheet. But in there, you'll see there's just a list of the FRQs, the scoring materials, and the justification for them. I added the statistics if you wanted them, but those aren't really nearly as useful for this part. The scoring guidelines and the samples are going to be the biggest bang for your buck. Cool. So I want to, hey, just a quick question. Just when I zoom in, does it work? Okay. So on the left, you'll notice this SEQ rubric. So this is the US government and politics scoring guide. So if you teach a content where you have like, where you have SEQs, the scoring looks like this, where it's part A must do this, acceptable descriptions include. So it gives you examples of like what a right answer should look like for each point on there. On the other hand, like I used to teach AP Lit, and the long answer questions and DBQs will have rubrics that look far more like this. So what I would do, and let me move that over there. Just give me a thumbs up if you're seeing that spreadsheet, right? Yes, okay, cool. What I would do and what I have done to check and make sure this works is I clicked on the scoring guidelines. So I'm just gonna grab the one for AP Lit. A lot of the rubrics here are pretty similar. So like here's the poetry analysis one. You'll notice here that like row 1 or row A thesis, 0 points for any of the following. This is a grading checklist. So I can just copy and paste this right in the CoGrader. This is if it responds to this prompt, then it earns a point. Responses that earn a point do this. Here are examples of that. And you can like, what I would do is if I'm using like the 2022 poetry prompt, I would put these custom examples in that prompt. so that CodeGrader can, all right, so that CodeGrader can get it right, you know, and know exactly the thing. You could rewrite these more generally as examples and counterexamples and use that same one. I find it's worth the time to just have the specifics. Sorry, guys, I just got a call saying we're gonna have a snow day. So thank you for being here with that. Can I demo how to do that? Yes. Same thing. Same thing for row B. You know, it gives you examples, counterexamples, and additional notes, which are helpful. Perfect. Oh, hey. Thanks, Don. Okay. So let me just take a second because I was trying hard to do this without like showing any of my students personal information. So I had to like make a new CodeGrader account and like switch windows and stuff. So do you guys see a green Google screen, or just thumbs up if you do, thumbs down if you don't? Not at all? Perfect. Let me try this one more time. I was trying to figure out a way to like not just, you know, spread my students' info everywhere. Okay, we've got, let's go to CodeGrader. Here we are. Oops. I want to go to the stable one. Show me the magic. Next, next. You can do the onboarding flow if you like. I'm going to skip it. It'll kind of go over like how to use CodeGrader a little bit. You sign in. Let's CodeGrade. And by the way, that's how fast I just created this account. That's it. That's all you have to do. Real easy. Account's there. I'm signing in for CodeGrader. Again, if you use another platform, you can click on here, how to import from either of those. I'm going to import from Google Classroom, grant it some permissions, and none of the permissions are like signing your life away. They're the same kind of permissions you would grant anything that like writes on a student's Google Doc for them or for you. It's the same kind of permissions you grant with the mail merge, etc. So it's not like a big, it's not nothing nefarious. It's just the stuff to use the product. I'm going to open the test class, grab the AP Lit post. You'll see here, it just rips if you're using Classroom, it rips the assignment instructions straight from here. This is for an AP Lit question 3. And I'm not going to go through like the whole process of grading it, etc., because I didn't upload a bunch of dummy papers. Sorry. But all I did was copy and paste this straight from the PDF. There we go. Sorry, I had everybody's faces in front of that. You can either use AI to generate a new rubric, which is a really new feature, actually, or you can pick a rubric template that's already here. I'm looking for, here we go.
Andrew, you can also upload
Yes.
the rubric, clicking that button.
Wait. Sorry, you guys
Just typing in the name and it's going to show up.
Here?
Yeah. Just
Wait.
type in any rubric name, it's going to show the menu to upload a rubric.
Oh, this one?
No, just move forward. It's fine.
Okay, cool. Sorry, it's been a long day. So AP argument.
It's just we've been shipping so much stuff this past couple of weeks that the product's changing like every week. So yeah, it's fine.
That's another thing I do like about CodeGrader is like when you send them a message through this button, like a bunch of the time it's Aleph that's answering. So I don't know. It's nice to be able to put a face. So here, what's nice is like these are already preloaded. So this is exactly the same thesis, maybe more than one sentence, provided the sentences are in close proximity. Then it's got 0 points. It's got the checklist, theses or responses that do not earn this point. What I would do is, because this one is for specifically like that prompt, yeah, I would name it. I think it was the 2022. English, Q3. Then I would go back to, here we go. Scoring rubrics and justification, AP Lit, scoring guidelines. And I would just like take here. Oops, here we go. So for the thesis one, you could just copy examples that earn that point and paste it directly into this one. And honestly, just run through and do that exact same thing for each one. So typical responses that are in 4 points, additional notes, you would put the additional notes in like the top one, but that's basically how I would do it. Got one thing I do want to note is the sophistication points messes or whatever. A bunch of AP classes have what my friend David calls the unicorn point. The sophistication point, I forget what it's called in Gov. No snow days. Oh no, I'm sorry, Tiffany. Okay. So yeah, that's basically what you do. Does that answer your question, Don? Reasoning, that's it. Thanks. Complexity, yep. That's why I just call it the unicorn point, because honestly, like I had one student where going for it made sense, but for most students, like if you got the other ones, you were well on your way. It was just higher leverage. Okay. Let me find Zoom again. All right. And okay. I do want to like, what's the respect people's time line that my boss always says to me? But kidding aside, I do want to like, I'm probably gonna go a little bit quicker, but last thing, extra instructions box. And feel free to like pause and take a, oh yeah.
We're seeing the speaker notes in the screen.
Oh, my bad.
I think you shared everything.
That's fine.
And just, and I think it's useful if you also quickly just go over how you can also grade something that's not like an EP rubric, because you can also add different examples like in criteria and levels. Just like share some quick examples so they can think like that for other.
Yeah. So for like when I graded Flipgrids, I added the like for example, it was them giving a speech and it was the first time they were giving the speech and it was from an outline. They hadn't scripted it. So I like told the AI like to get this point, the example does not need to be perfect, but it does need to contain X, Y, Z, for example. And then like honestly, I've used ChatGPT to generate examples and non-examples and copied and pasted them into the rubric. When you generate a rubric using AI in CodeGrader, it often preloads those examples and non-examples too. So it ends up being really quick. It's a lot better now than it was even a month ago. So just like I was copying and pasting those examples, non-examples, if-thens, the checklists, like that works, or those 3 principles work for every single like rubric in CodeGrader, and you just tailor it to the assignment or task you're grading. Is that good? Okay. If you do want to though, take a screenshot of this. This really helped me. I use the extra instructions box all the time. I don't know of another site that has one that like works for a whole class, but if you tell it to do these kinds of things, the feedback just gets better and it gets closer to what I would want them to do. If you tell them what grade the students are in, that's helpful. I give it context, like this is the student's first draft, ignore X and prioritize Y. So that kind of stuff is good. Okay. So now, after you do all the grading or after you click the button, here's what I do. I run the insights as soon as I'm done grading. And I saw somebody squinting at their screen earlier to try to read this, but you can use this like so that next day, I changed my seating chart. So I put all of the students who like needed the thesis point, I sit them together. So now we have a small group just for that. So I organize that based on their scores. on each of those subcategories. Then I can have them do like yeah, this is great, by the way, if you have like Mike, if you have 1 million students and a half, it's great for PLCs. You can share rubrics now, which I guess came out yesterday. So I haven't even gotten a chance to use it yet. But you share the same rubric. If everybody uses CoGrader, you compare insights, and you now like as a team can isolate the discussion points, and you can look at like what worked. I've taught, yeah, for this, if there's one-offs, I can do them in one-on-one conferences or 1 to 3-ish groups. But most of my classes need some version of this. So I'm going to give you 3 strategies I use. It's exactly that, like the first 2, they're not going to be brand new. But there you go. You're welcome to like steal this document if you, hang on. Okay, that second one will actually just make you make a copy and that'll work better. But that's fair. Love you, Mike. So the first one, analyzing mentor text just for those strategies that are indicated in the insights, that targets my instruction. It's what I was gonna do anyway for like those short answer questions, and we can do it the next day instead of waiting a week or 2. I do a peer revision like checklist assembly line. For all my classes actually, and you can have ChatGPT, if you copy the AP rubric and tell it to turn it into a grading checklist, it'll do it, and then it helps students like see more clearly where they might need to revise, or it helps them peer revise, because my students are really bad at writing feedback, so it's a thing we're working on. The third one, and this is what that looks like. This is just a pro tip. You can take an AP rubric, drop it into a bot, generate a revision checklist. But it took me 5 minutes to make a custom revision bot. Like I did not know it was this easy. I swear to God, I just found this last night. It's called Mizuo. I don't even know how to pronounce it, and I used it. It was great. You can use it to create a custom like chatbot just for your class, just for an assignment. And they have a ton that are preloaded. School AI is another one. And what I did with this, or what I'm planning on doing really, is I had a different activity that students were doing individually or in small groups while I was working with one of those tables. So that way, like every student had a customized, personalized like thing that would help them before, even if I was working with another group. But this, I made a revision bot, and it took me like 10 minutes. It was really easy. And I set it up. You tell it what you want it to tell the students, what it's looking for. You can upload like examples of AP essays to this one, and it'll like chat with them. So it's like taking all the College Board documents and turning it into a thing that students can talk with in order to get like to ask it questions and stuff. Yes, yeah, you absolutely could. If you in CoGrader, you could click generate with AI when it goes to make a rubric and tell CoGrader to do that as well. So I'm just like, I'm curious, like this is a thing that I swear it took me 10 minutes to make a custom revision coach so that I just gave every student a teacher that had read their paper right away. But I'm like, I really am curious, and I do want to know, because part of the reason I like doing this kind of thing is because I steal ideas from all of you. Um, so like what, and feel free to unmute and share. If there's that awkward people are talking, that's fine. But like, what's your favorite revision lesson? And I'm curious how like that might change, uh, like how AI powered feedback would change that. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna let's take a look. Feel free to drop it in the chat. Or just unmute. I can cold call. Aspect fair. Oh man. So people run away instead of cold calling. Fair. Favorite that aspect of teaching writing. Okay. Just curious, April, what do you teach?
Well, I'm going to be teaching AP language next year. Right now I teach 10th through 12th grade. So I've got argumentation and persuasion and then regular 10th grade English. And then I have like some weird classes like theater arts and myths, legends, and superheroes.
Okay.
Yep.
Here, let's try a thing. Why not? I bet you we can make a rubric for myths, legends, and superheroes. Oh, whoops, this is the wrong one. Sorry, guys. I almost showed like all my students thing. Okay, here we go. So let's do here. Bet you we can make an AP style rubric for myth, legends, and superheroes. Let's see what happens. Let's generate a new rubric. Oops. That sounds like a really sweet class.
It is really fun.
Yeah. What are you guys working on right now?
Well, that's a 1-term class, so I don't have that one this year until next term. I had one like first term, and we're on a 4-quarter schedule. So, but typically we kind of, I mean, it's tough. We got 9 weeks, so we're trying to cram like world mythology plus superheroes and reading comic books and graphic novels in 9 weeks. But a lot of it is a student research of a particular culture that's interesting to them. And then we try to find some of those archetypes and common elements that are in mythology in different cultures. My favorite lesson that we did earlier this year was after 3 weeks of going through some cultures together, they had to choose a culture of their choice and come up with a 20-minute lesson teaching their class some of the common things that we had talked about with other cultures.
What grade?
This would be like 11th and 12th grade.
So I know typing's not a spectator sport. But I bet you this can work. So let's just generate a rubric. Myths, legends, and superheroes lesson. So you can generate via AI generator. You can upload a CSV template, or you can choose the Common Core standards. So I don't know. Let's just grab. Oh shoot. Let's grab that one. Text evidence, main ideas. I'm a big old nerd, so I know a bunch of these. And shoot, I want to say 7 is like the source material one, but I could be wrong. Let's see what happens. But yeah, this is kind of what's nice about helping with a product that just keeps iterating so fast. Is I don't think that button was there like a week ago. Okay, so got the standard, meets expectations, consistently identify areas of uncertainty, approaches, 2 or more themes. Perfect. There we go. Oh, include at least one play or a play by American dramatists. How each version include 2 of the sources we read this semester. These include, and then you would put a list there. Yeah. After that, like I would use the additional instructions to tell them like what to look for, and then you could import the assignment straight from there. It doesn't have to be like much more complicated than that. Oh, sorry, Deanna. Oh, hey, by the way, if you guys want, or wait, I do have a co-grader email address. So if you have any questions that come after, like, send me an email, either politics course, templates, or other history classes. Perfect. Oh, thanks, Sarah J. Yeah. That's what like yeah, I guess that's I don't know about anybody else. It's been a long day. Um, but like if you're interested in using CodeGrader and kind of want to find out a little bit more, there's the bronze certification. It's kind of like a level 1 certification. If you take a look here at this link, just click on it. It's free. It'll walk you through how to use CodeGrader and work through in more detail each part of those. But yeah, what other questions can I help you all with?